I'm Tim Robel from the ExtremeEnduroStore.com, and this is my 2013 King of the Motos race report. Basically, I'd like to take it back to 1 year to kind of tell you how I got there. Last year I petitioned my way in to race. It was the first time I raced in 22 years. I did that on the 04 450 Dual Sport. Basically, I made it to race mile 35. I had a couple issues in between there. Got there and just basically said, you know what, I'm not in shape for this. I'm really not on the right equipment, and I really don't have proper technique that's transitioned from trials into extreme enduro. So at this point in time, I kind of have three major things I need to work on. I'm going to tap out and go away with this with a great experience and be passionate about 2013 and come back with a vengeance. So basically that's what I did. I got back to the house, and about March I found that Glen Helen has a very good endurocross track that I started training, and basically I was there from 8 to 4 every Thursday. I never missed a Thursday for the entire year unless we were on the road to an endurocross event. Very, very consistent, very passionate, worked on technique and getting in shape. It surprised me on how much fitness it takes to ride 5 minutes or just even one lap of endurocross. So really focused on that. I raced 2 events on the 04 450 that I set up for endurocross trim. That bike is probably the most versatile bike out there. I mean, if you're going to buy one bike to do it all, one of the KTM Dual Sports is kind of the way you could do it. You could race endurocross and desert and ride it to the store and get some milk. But more on that later. August, the 2013 300 XCW, I get my call from Chaparral, Steve Gary there. He's like, hey dude, your bike's in, come pick it up. So we take off, go pick it up in the box van. I bring it back in the crate. I go through the whole bike. I basically take the whole thing apart, grease stuff, and put it together so I know everything's right. And then I started developing the bike and new products for the store. Prototype products that I was testing out at Glen Helen and then out in Johnson Valley. So basically I got my bike that's developed. I'm actually in pretty decent shape. I'm used to kind of racing a little bit, so the nerves are down. 2 weeks out, I show up to go do some pre-running out at the Hammers, and I run into Max Gersten and Jacob Argebright. I kind of say, you know, tag along with them. We ride sledge and jack and some other trails over Saturday and Sunday. Had an awesome time with them, so I'm feeling real optimistic. I'm like, man, I'm riding this stuff better than ever. I feel great. Came home, fitted my Trail Tech to the bike, put on my Pirelli MT43s, the tire that I choose for extreme enduro, and showed up on the lake bed 4 days early on Thursday before they released the actual race course. I jump on my 450 pre-run bike. I go out and run some desert sections, and lo and behold, I run into some course markers that take me on some of the gnarliest stuff that I end up getting in over my head on the bike, and I remember why, like, yeah, that's not my race bike. Take my time, work my way through a canyon. Unfortunately, at the down at the bottom of SOS, I end up throwing a master link. I don't have any tools on me. I just got my Camelback, and I'm like, yeah, this was supposed to be a 3-hour tour, you know, and I'm not going to go do anything crazy, and I'm not going to go too far. Yeah, that never works. So lesson learned right there. Not a problem. I get up Friday morning, I jump on my race bike, I switch my Trail Tech from pre-runner to the 300, and I go out and I have a great day pre-running. They released the course. I run the first half of the course, rode it outstanding. I'm like, okay, I got this. I can finish, but I'm not sure if I can finish in the time allotted, because it was 160 miles of some of the most gnarly terrain that they have in the world, in my opinion. I'm like, I don't know if I can do it. Hats off to the top pros that ran it in just over 6 hours. I'm like, that's pretty amazing to do that. Get up Saturday morning, have a good breakfast. I jump on the bike. I'm going to pre-run the second half of the race course. I go out, I get about a quarter way through, and I say, you know what, I'm going to come back, fill up, have a little lunch. I run into a guy that says, hey, have you changed out your power valve spring? And we talk. I got the one that he suggested in, and I made a few changes to the power valve. More on that on another video. But that turned this bike into a monster Saturday afternoon. It was just a tractor. I could just kind of just crawl up stuff and use no energy. I don't run a Recluse, not because I don't like a Recluse. It's just all about finances. You know, a G is a lot for me to spend on something that I got electric start and a clutch for, but more on that even later. So basically, Saturday went good. Got the bike all nut and bolted again. I'm set up, I'm hydrated. Get up Sunday morning, show up on the line, and I got Max on my left and Jacob on my right. Kind of funny how things work out. We're up on the hill, and I'm like, okay, race strategy. Thought about this a long time. I'm not going to try to go for a whole shot. I'm just going to work my way up. I'm going to work this race as an adventure ride. I'm just going to go fast because it's 160 miles that I got to complete before dark, and you know, don't know what's going to happen. So dead motor start, flag waves, rah, guys take off. I'm like, cool. Oh, there's a hole. I'm not going to wait and be the last guy, so I push the button, rah, go up, feet on the pegs. Same start as last year, except we don't go to the top. We go up and kind of do this little turn and then come down this rocky canyon. I basically do that, nail it, feet up on the pegs, balanced on the bike, come down, I knock out a couple guys on the turn, come up around another climb, there's about 4 guys that's scattered in the trail, and I'm like, oh crap. So I work my way around, and I end up having to go down in the back seat and paddle around them. Motor just really chugged down low, and I got great traction with the tires. Work my way up, I drop down the shelf reef, on a small bus, go up and over, resolution, we cross by the bottom of it. Now I'm in the open desert, and I'm like, okay, now away from everybody, you know, no, now you can crash out here in the middle and you don't have a million people watching you, you know, so get up, dry lake bed, I reel in another guy, I'm watching my trail tech, following the course arrow, going, and it's like, I see a bike up here stopped, and I'm like, oh man, that's Max. So I pull over, and I'm like, Max, what do you need? What do you need? He goes, dude, I don't know at this time. He's like, I'm good, go, go. So the 2 guys I reeled in, right by me. I'm like, oh, great. So now I'm starting to get a little antsy, like, wow, people are catching me, you know, and I'm tapped. I'm running about 76 across this dry lake bed, and we get to race mile 12. Pour gas. Some of the fast experts, I think it was Cameron Steele, got in front of me, and I'm like, dude, you got to step your game up. You're already getting past, you know. Getting away from my original strategy is like, you're real good at the technical terrain and the rocks, so just work your way through it and you'll pass plenty of people. Great strategy. So pour gas, take off, and I'm like, I'm going to get my places back. So I start skipping up on top of these whoops, and I look down. Okay, I got a right coming up, and I'm up probably about 40, 45 miles an hour skimming these whoops, and they're deep. And then I drop down to flat. And then after that, there's this gnarly G out that's about 3.5 foot tall and pretty steep, and I'm going way too fast, and front brake, rear brake, scrub speed, and then back on the gas, and rah! Oh, everything goes silent. Start my forward flip through the air, and I'm like, okay, go back to your martial arts experience. You've done this forward roll hundreds of thousands of times. Get your arm out, prepare for the roll, and then I go around the second time. So I tuck, set up, I see my bike just going crazy on the ground. I'm like, no, and then I hit the ground. Blam! Sparks shoot out of my eyes, automatically just start watering, and then blam! And that second time just knocks the wind out of me, and I'm like, oh, on the ground. I'm like, oh, this really makes spooners really hard, because I'm at the mouth of spooners now, and I'm like, I can ride this, you know? And I'm like, oh, so knock the wind out of me. Some guy on a Husaberg stops, whoever that was, thank you very much. Real kind, you know, told me to breathe, and I did. Got my air back. He went back to the pits and got somebody, and they kind of helped me out a little bit. Go to get some water out of my Camelback. It tore the mouthpiece off of it, so got water all over everything. And go to get on the bike, and man, it's just, I'm sore. I'm like, oh man, I just made this whole race super tough now. Not that it wasn't already tough enough, so go to put my arm on the bars, and I can't even reach it. I got to put my arm up. The guy's like, are you out of the race? And I'm like, no, I think I still got this. Wait about another minute, and I'm like, yeah, call it, I'm out. He's like, okay, you're 12 miles from Hammertown. It's just, you know, it's right back around the hill. I got like, okay, got it. So a ride back thinking about what I should have done, you know, staying to my race strategy of it's an adventure ride, it's a good trail ride, ride it at speed because it's a lot of distance that you have to cover. But, you know, rocks is where I excel. Don't race the desert. You're not racing anybody but yourself. Just go out, have a good time, and enjoy the experience. So, lesson learned. I make it back to the box van. About 2 hours later, paramedics check me out. If I wouldn't have been wearing my Fox armor, I would have been so much worse. Stay tuned for that. I got another video that I'm going to do a review on the Klein helmet that I wear and the Fox armor, and then some of the new products that I developed on this bike. But I'm like, man, they checked me out. They're like, yeah, dude, you need to go to the hospital. And I'm like, okay, yeah, broken ribs. We're going to go to the hospital. We're going to say, yeah, let's take 2 weeks off. So go to the hospital there in 29 Palms, and they look at me and they're like, yeah, you got 5 broken ribs, and you know, don't do anything for a couple weeks, go see your physician and all of this. So I basically come home, I take it easy. Day 1, I start training again, which was just getting up off the couch, you know, which took about a minute and a half, and I did that every hour on the hour, and started getting stronger and stronger day in and day out. We're about a month after the event, so I'm back about 80%. I was back on the bike Sunday. Didn't want to hit the ground, but rode well. I didn't lose any skill. Not as strong or had the endurance that I just had, but I'll get back to that. So I'm looking through the medical exam, and what do I find out? Yeah, you have 5 broken ribs, and you broke your back. T7 and T8 vertebrae were fractured. And I'm like, holy crap, something they could have told me. You know, I might have taken it a little easier if I know I had a broken back. But basically that's my story. I'm passionate about this extreme enduro stuff and developing products on the bike. We're 2 months out basically from the season opener, May 3rd at the Orleans Arena for Endurocross. I'm going to be there. The trim of the bike will change a little bit, back to a knobby. I got a couple different tires that I want to check out and do reviews on, so stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching, and keep an eye on the extremeendurostore.com because these new prototype products are getting ready to hit the market. Thank you for watching. I'm Tim Robel, and I'll catch you here next time.